Have you been told that your AMH is on the low side and that IVF is your only option to conceive? Did that leave you feeling like you're running out of time to grow your family? I'm here to tell you that AMH is not a fertility score, and a low AMH does not automatically mean that you can't get pregnant naturally. Hi, I'm Dr. Cindy. My husband, Dr. Cody, and I are the doctors behind Fertility for Two, a program that helps couples get pregnant naturally. We are both naturopathic doctors and acupuncturists. Our goal is to talk openly and honestly about fertility and the process of trying to conceive. So before we let one lab value define your future, let's talk about what AMH actually is. It stands for Anti-Müllerian Hormone. AMH is produced by small growing follicles in the ovary, and specifically early antral and preantral follicles. These are immature eggs in development. So, AMH gives us an estimate of how many of these small follicles are currently in line to develop and be chosen as the egg that ovulates. It's just a reflection of follicle quantity. That's it. At the beginning of each cycle, your brain sends out FSH, or follicle stimulating hormone, and a small cohort of follicles respond. Usually, somewhere between 5 to 15 follicles are recruited each month. But only one of those becomes dominant and actually ovulates. The rest naturally regress. So AMH reflects the size of that recruitable pool, not how many eggs you will ovulate in a lifetime, and definitely not how capable that dominant egg is once it's selected to ovulate. So, AMH is not a direct measure of things like egg quality, implantation potential, uterine receptivity, hormone balance, or your ability to carry to term. Those are the variables that actually determine pregnancy outcome, and AMH doesn't measure any of them. More importantly, AMH does not measure how well those eggs function, because you can have a low AMH and still ovulate consistently, a low AMH and still conceive naturally, and conversely, you can have high AMH and not ovulate at all, and that's the case in PCOS. Because AMH does not tell us if ovulation is happening, if progesterone is rising appropriately in the luteal phase, if the uterine lining is receptive, and definitely not if there's male factor in the mix. So if you think about your fertility as a symphony, then it's easier to see that AMH is just one instrument in the orchestra. Clinically, AMH is most useful in predicting the response of ovarian stimulation when using IVF. It helps us estimate how many eggs might be retrieved, because that's the number likely to respond to medications that force ovulation. It was not designed to predict whether you can conceive naturally. It boggles my mind that many women are told that their only option to conceive is to do IVF if their AMH is under 1. But doing IVF without evaluating things like metabolic health, thyroid status, ovulation quality, progesterone levels, sperm health, or many other life inputs is just incomplete medicine. In the Fertility for Two program, we look at all those markers I just mentioned above and more. We assess system vitality, not just follicle count. So the bottom line is, a low AMH does not mean that you are infertile. It's just information, and information only matters in context. When we assess a couple's fertility, we look at ovulation, luteal phase integrity, and uterine environment in a woman, a full sperm analysis with DNA fragmentation in a man, and in both partners, we evaluate blood sugar, inflammation, thyroid function, circadian rhythm, and mitochondrial health. Taken together, this data gives us a clear picture of how well your system is functioning, and function determines fertility in much more detail than a single lab number. So, if your AMH is low, don't panic. Zoom out and assess the whole system. If you've been trying to conceive and a low AMH has been weighing heavily on you, remember, fertility is a symphony, and one instrument does not define the entire performance. Thanks for spending time with me today. Subscribe to our channel where we talk about fertility and health. If you'd like to work with us, you'll find the information below. And if this video could help somebody you love, pass it along. From our family to yours, we're wishing you clarity and confidence on your path forward.